Drei, zwei, eins. Servus, Grüezi, and welcome not to the best, not your favorite podcast with your favorite people host and my guest this time, all the way from beautiful Netherlands, representing Turn It Loose. Make some noise for Jurskee. What's up, brother?
What up? Yo, thanks for having me, man.
Bro, thank you so much for taking your time. At the beginning, I always like to give like how you say the flowers to the people, right? Because I only do my show with people I like on a personal level and also who did a lot for the scene, you know? So thank you very much. You did a lot of things for the Dutch scene, of course, and internationally. And it's really nice you had some time and we can do this.
For sure. Let's
Nice.
go.
So, Jurskee, when did I saw you for the first time? I think of course, in the internet, but I can't tell you which battle. Maybe you already been judging. That
Yeah,
could.
yeah, yeah.
But when did I see? Was it IBE? We saw each other first time live.
I think what I remember the time we really talked was at the movement arena where we were all in the house, which
Yes,
is just a few years back, actually.
in Basel, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
Yes, movement arena, movement
Yeah,
arena.
the one.
But you know
Yeah,
how it is, you travel different events, you know the faces, you know, like you we saw us before, but I think this is a good point. This is where we first time like talk to each other and sh share some.
yeah, we had a conversation.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
So nice. So brother, I know because of your bio in Insta, you started 94, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but before 94, do you remember the first thing that you saw that was hip hop related?
The other elements, actually.
Yes?
Like, because when I was young, I got into skateboarding in the 80s.
Mm,
That was just because in my neighborhood, like kids would have all the newest stuff that would come from the States.
yeah.
And what's funny is I think in Europe, skateboarding, which is from the West Coast, of course, and from surfing originally, came together as a package as something from the US, together with graffiti, together with Levi jeans, together with fans, like so all the cool kids, they all of a sudden were doing American sort of stuff in
Mm-hmm.
my neighborhood.
Yeah.
And we were always playing outside, of course,
Yeah.
in the 80s. So that's what we did, climbing trees,
Hmm.
like playing basketball, and I got into skateboarding.
So you tried other elements beside before you started breaking?
Not other dances, but I've been skateboarding for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically something that I picked up from the streets.
Yes.
My parents tried to sort of have me do, I think we call it athletic. I think it's
Ah,
where you
just
have.
like track and field and stuff like that?
Yeah, but like it was boring, and I even for a few months I played badminton because they knew I would liked it on the when we were on camping.
Ah, okay,
But
okay.
like none of these things interested me,
But also in Europe, everybody play football for
Yeah,
Americans,
but
you
I
know?
I was really against football.
Ah,
I
really?
I was like I know I had a thing because of the big groups and the hooligans.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And that kind of group behavior, I was really like, nah, man, like everything that was in big groups, I was more a loner. Like I didn't like that behavior. I thought like didn't attract me. Like
But
and they act like really dumb,
yeah,
like
and also there's a lot of negativity you think about when you talk about hooligans and shit, you know?
yeah, yeah. So that whole world plus the group thing,
Yeah,
it didn't really fit me because I was pretty much a loner. Like just leave me alone, let me do my thing.
I see.
And
I see.
so I had it with skateboarding because I was by myself like a lot of times, like just every day I had to skateboard,
Hmm.
street skateboard, and I would be in my happy zone, and then when I saw breaking, the same happened, I was like, wow.
So when did you
It
see breaking for the first time?
um well, I slowly got in, like a lot of things came together in the 90s because I was like, so I started skateboarding I think around 86, and then I did it for 10 years, so that all the way until 96.
Hmm.
And early 90s, and I would always come home and watch MTV,
Yes.
watch video clips, check the styles, whatever. And then at a certain moment, early 90s, Yo MTV Raps came on.
Ooh,
And
nice.
and this was something that at first it was only at night, so people would record it. But all the people hung out with in the neighborhood, they would record it and they would get into the latest hip hop,
Hmm.
which was 90s hip hop, which was of course the best
The
sort of,
golden era.
and since I was very visually like orientated, I was always like I would just sit home and study video clips, and fashion and stuff like that. And skateboarding somehow slowly went from punk rock and grunts into hip hop. They would start
Okay.
listening to Cypress Hill, Beastie
Yes.
Boys, and they would, I think even skateboarders were the first to have fat laces and the baggy pants, the baggy
Ah,
pants for
really?
sure, but also the fat laces again after the
Okay.
80s.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
And
revived it.
yeah, and after a while, like I was looking like a b-boy, but it was because of I liked that fashion, and it was missing in. And my brother was into graffiti, and
Mhm.
he's 2 years older. He would already travel to Berlin, and he would come home with videotapes that had like little parts with breaking. He would also actually watch the Star Wars Wild Style, like all the documentaries about graffiti. He would like study scene and all the graph writers. But as soon as Rocksteady came, I was like a Mac. Like, yo, what are they doing? So then very soon, like I was drawn to it. Like, how do they walk on their elbows? And so I really like started by myself a little
Nice.
bit, and then started when I had the confidence, I would throw down at hip hop parties, and that's how I met my crew.
Mm.
Because I would be in a circle trying out stuff.
Ah,
But
so
yeah,
how old are you when you start breaking?
I was around, I think 16, 17.
16, 17. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah, I was a bit
guess.
older.
Okay, okay. And then you meet the other guys in the club when you go down.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We went to this. They called it the block jam, but it was really small. And it was just a bunch of old graffiti writers. They show slideshows of graffiti,
Mm-hmm.
and they play a lot of electro,
Mm-hmm.
and that was just it. And they would be drinking beer at the bar, and then I would come in, and another guy, Pascal, we called him Puck. Later, he changed his name to Apache, and he became also a DJ. And
Nice.
he was like 7 years older than me, and he was really busy b-boy in the 80s. And he saw me, and then we exchanged, and he had like a clean form. He did capoeira in between
Mm-hmm.
when the breaking went out, and he had like still the shape and nice swipes and windmills, and I was like, oh snap, this guy's good. So I don't know, we sort of met up, and then even in the first formation of Turn It Loose, because we started that crew in '96.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a legendary graffiti writer who was also he wanted to do learn headspin and stuff, and he still had his boogie, a Cat 22, and they came up with the name because the guy I started the crew with already had a lot of knowledge. Like he went to university, he studied cultural studies, and he would know like yeah the song that will always be in the playlist of Cool Herc, and that was the favorite song of Crazy Legs was "Give It Up, Turn It Loose" from James Brown. I'm like, oh snap! So and then they came up with "Turn It Loose" is that's the dopest name, because it just has that energy, it has the funk, it has the connection to the
Yes.
culture, and he would educate me and school me all the time.
So how many
So
members did you start out?
it grew pretty quickly to I think 5, 6,
Okay.
something like that. And a funny story is like the mom of Lee actually
Mhm.
was my girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
And I got her into breaking also because she had like a gymnastics background. I met her in '95, and she met me as like some fanatic break crazy head. So I took her to Bella the year '96. The both of us, we went in a train, not knowing what to expect, sleep on the floor, and I was still a beginner, but and and for her it was dope because she retired from gymnastics because she did it at a high level. But then she was like, "Oh, let me train my handstands again. Oh, let's see if I can do head back handsprings and then
Mm.
learn the footwork form." And then we're like, "Yo, join the crew." So we already had like a bigger from the beginning in the crew. And I think she danced with performed with us like for at least 3 years, like hardcore. And then but then we broke up. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
That's crazy.
But I think yeah, to answer your question, I think we had like 6 members.
And like for me, when I started out, we started in the, oh, I always forget the name in English, man. The Kela, you know Kela? how do you say?
Yeah. Basement.
Basement. Pičku materinu.
Yeah.
Basement. We started in the basement with cardboard, like real,
Right.
like you know the stories.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We went to the youth center, and in the
Mm.
youth center, they always provided a room for us, a room, and
What city was that?
this
Where
was in
did you start?
Vienna. This is in Vienna. I'm born in
Ah,
Austria.
okay.
This was in Vienna, and
Okay. Yeah.
we went to the youth center like 2 times a week, and then it became like daily. We went to the youth center at the evening, and we could have the room for like 2 hours. So how
Yeah,
did it
yeah.
look for you guys? How did you, where did you practice together?
Okay, so it's funny you mentioned the cardboard because actually I also had put cardboard in my bedroom, you
Bro,
know,
that's
and
the
I had like
bullshit.
I had two cassette tapes, one with Mantronics and one with Schoolie D. Don't ask me why. Schoolie D is but he had like some dope beats, but it's very slow. And I copied them from a skateboard friend of me who said like this is old school, and we had like this fascination with old school. Everything that when it came to breaking, the music that we danced to had to be old school
Okay, I see. Yeah,
because the 90s rap was of course like new, but
that was new. Yes.
actually the first time I saw it or the first time I knew breaking is coming back is the Lords of the Underground Chief Rucker, a video clip which came out in 1992,
And
and
of
it
course, Crazy
featured
Legs.
Crazy Legs,
Yeah.
and of course I recognized Crazy Legs, like he was all in red velour with a red Pumas, and I was like, yo, that's that dude from Beat Street and Star Wars and Wild Style, like that's Crazy Legs, and Quickstep was in there too.
Hmm.
And then Quickstep was in a lot of videos after that because he was also in the Step Into My World from KRS, and Quickstep
Mm.
actually would come to Germany. So there was tapes of him in Germany with the army pants that were circulating in Europe.
Ah, was he serving the army and he had to go to Europe?
No, 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 no. No, actually, no, he would just had the army pants as a fashion.
Aha, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But actually, this is also funny you mentioned this, but it doesn't have to do with me. But
Yeah.
apparently, a lot of breakers in Europe started breaking because of the GIs. So the US
In
soldiers,
in Spain, I had
yeah,
podcast with Gracie, and he said to me, breaking came to Spain
yeah.
because of the soldiers.
Yeah, so even before the movies, there was like military, like B-boys stationed in different countries.
Yeah.
And they told me like even in Heerlen near to IBE,
Yes.
they had like their base and they had like a whole campus, but it was open. People could come in there and they had a store that would sell American stuff, but also records. And they
Mm.
would bring records to the local discos and ask like, "Yo, can you play this?" and start breaking. So some local b-boys there learned it from them because it
Yes.
was, you know, it was what they did back in the US.
That's
But no, so we practice like I practice at home a lot. I had like a parquet floor downstairs where
Mhm.
I like learned my first windmill with all the bruises and cushions between my pants and
Oh
stuff.
my God.
I would actually study moves the same way I studied skateboarding, like with a VHS tape,
Hmm.
put it on pause, and then go like
Ah,
image for
bro,
image to understand.
we all did this. Like
Yeah, we all
we
did.
we met. I remember specifically one day, the guy ordered it and it came in the mail, and we all went to his place. We were like six, 7 people from the crew, bro. And the video started. It was, I think, Total
Uh,
Session 3. I think it was. And bro, if we liked something, we put our hand up, hey, stop. I want to see this again.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the whole time it was like, just stop,
Yo,
watch it again.
like we would get copies with certain parts that were all blurry because they were
Yeah,
rewinded
yeah.
so many times.
The
You
we
know?
our most destroyed VHS was Three Warriors from Rivers. Remember this?
I'm not sure. I
It
don't.
was
I don't
just
even
three
know.
B-boys. It was physics. It was the young guy. They had the young power mover, Rivers,
Yeah, yeah.
Millennium. This guy and another power mover. It was just a VHS about these three. And at like a 5 minute or 10 minute part, everybody from the crew went down. But
Dope.
everything was just these three B-boys, Three Warriors.
I never heard of that video,
Bro,
man. And
this is a
actually,
crazy
this is
video.
DVD times already because I think
No, this
like
VHS. Bro, they have scenes
it
there
was
from
around that
the
time that it switched, right?
I guess so, brother. I think it was like 2002.
Because I had the Expression Crew. I had it on VHS.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
Remember
this
that
too.
that
I know
one?
this too. But
Yeah.
Rivers for sure was on VHS, and brother, there was scenes from battles and scenes from
Wow,
showcases
I
they
need to
had.
look that up,
No,
man.
and this the small guy from Rivers. I heard he's now a violin player.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he had the craziest combos back then already, man.
Yo, because I remember like we had like this opinion about career because they came up like real fast, right? And
Oh,
then it was like, yeah, but they only got power. They don't have
yes,
the
yes.
and then I felt Rivers, they showed everybody like,
They
no,
showed
man,
everything.
we
They
got
showed
the
everything.
style, we got the musicality, we got the character.
Yeah.
And this actually for me also was a moment in time, like when Amjad did Circle Kings and
Hmm.
they had the final with Focus and Hot Solo against Luigi and Technique.
Hmm.
I was flipping. I called my friend Soul Trotter. I said, "Yo, the real breaking is back, man! Yo, check it out!" Like, because they had the fashion, they had like everything, and we went through a crazy period before, with all the abstracts and
Yeah, yeah.
like
We had
breaking
many phases
changed a
in
lot.
breaking. There was
Oh,
a lot of fashion, no, like
but
trends,
weird fashion,
not
bro.
fashion.
Weird
A lot
abstract
of.
shit.
I wanted to say trends, not fashion.
Yeah, yeah, trends
A
all
lot
the
of trends.
time. Yeah, no,
I
but
think there is
also
still.
like we trained a lot outside, by the way. I try and keep like basically answers to your
All
question.
cool, bro. All cool. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
worry.
like in Amsterdam, we there were certain spots with marble floors, and we would go there and then bring a boombox and waste a lot of batteries and
We
just
used also to dance. You know this from the school. They have like the red floor,
oh yeah, 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 the
like this. I
yeah.
know not. I don't think it was linoleum.
No, it's cold, but it's a bit smelly, right? And you have
Yeah,
to
and it's
sort of
like real
make it
plastic,
hot to put it
plastic.
in the building, and then
Yes,
it
yes.
stays forever.
It's really
Yeah,
plastic, plastic.
yeah.
When we at school and we play football, we always break. You know.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No,
But
that's how it goes.
the youth center for us was number one. Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, youth centers everywhere, I think. Like they were a key factor in because they're open for everybody. It's just usually kids that hang around that have too much energy.
Yeah, bro, in the youth center there were so many people doing nothing, bro. Just
Of
chilling
course.
there, just doing bullshit, and we were breaking all the time.
Yeah,
All
yeah, yeah, that's dope.
so you off camera, you already told me you started breaking, but there was no battles
No.
in Netherlands.
No, no, you gotta imagine there was like I really was part of the revival of breaking in Holland. Like there was like everybody still around me when they saw me try to break. Were like, "What are you doing? That shit
Yep.
is played out," you know?
Yep.
Like and plus white guys didn't do it. Like
Mhm.
that's the things I would hear. So, but I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Like, cause I could see it coming. I could see like, yo, it's popping up in video clips, and Holland was slow because Second to None was already busy in UK. Actual Force was already busy in Paris. Battle Squad was already busy in Germany, and Throwdown Rockets in Sweden. So we slowly start getting tapes. Plus, we had I made connections. Like in '95, I wrote a little piece for school, and I explained my class the difference between rap and hip hop because that time people started getting into rap, but I saw all the documentaries and I was like, I heard all the time the four elements, this,
Yes,
that.
yes.
My brother was into graph, I was attracted to breaking. So I was like, nah, man, just because you listen to rap, let me educate you guys. So I was like, okay. And then I interviewed somebody from each element. So a graffiti writer, and I asked them about like especially if they started in the 80s, like how was it in the 80s and how did it change? And then it was very funny. And then I got the contact number of Dickie and Sylvain from Just for Fun. They're from a crew in Groningen. And they were before Sylvain was in a rap group called the Zombie Squad. And they would go do a lot of gigs in Germany. And in Germany, they were already breaking.
Yeah, yeah.
And he used to break in the 80s. And then he got into New Jack, they called it, or New
Yeah,
Jack
yeah. New
Swing.
Jack Swing.
Yeah, like sort of Running Man, like I
Yeah.
don't know. And so he would do that in the meantime, but still throw his windmills from time to time. And as soon as he saw, yo,
His
they're
Winnies.
breaking, he started breaking again. And he was hanging with people like Sonny T in Hamburg, you know? And he had Mans mills, windmills, he could pop, he could lock, he had footwork.
Yeah.
He traveled to the US. So for me, he was like, yo, he knows everything. And they had videotapes. And so slowly in Holland, I started finding the people that started again. So Paulo and Carlos, they started again. Rotterdam became like a hot spot because there was like so many talent coming from there.
Hmm.
And a lot of people like that's also where the organizers came from. Tyrone's from Rotterdam. He started organizing trips to IBE.
Hmm.
And we would just travel to different cities to meet breakers and train with them.
Hmm.
And they would always have a spot, a gym room or whatever, and then that's it. So we would meet each other at hip hop concerts, make circles. If it could be anything like rap concerts, but also just parties or even the DJ contests. They had a lot of DJ contests. And we would
Okay.
go there too, and we just wait till the music was good and make a circle. So
Ah,
that for me was already enough motivation. Like
that's it.
trying to do what I saw in because you remember like Beat Street Wild Style, Star Wars, they all showed the party element, breaking
Yes.
in clubs, in circles, and having your crew. So and being surrounded by rap and graffiti and all the elements. So for me, that's the only thing I wanted to be part of.
Hmm.
And create a little bit, but also wherever it was, I would go there,
That.
and I had a guy who put me on the list of Paradiso for every baseline, and I never saw his face. Like I didn't even know who he was. I called him from my home phone, like, I'm coming with so many breakers. Yeah, yeah, cool, you're on the list. And that was what we did, We trained to go to
That's so nice.
parties and
That,
break.
I mean, we also, I started, I was 13, and then my mother always told me, like, you can only go out in the club when you're 18. And then with 15, I went for the first time.
I,
So
I
then,
was lucky because I started around that time, so I was
yes,
already
yeah,
free.
yeah,
I
yeah,
could I
exactly.
could train, and,
So you can already go by yourself. For
Yeah.
example, I couldn't go to IB 2005
No.
because also I had a toxic girlfriend, and also I didn't really have the money, and I was just 2005. I was 15 years old.
15. How old are you now then?
Oh no, what I'm talking about. I was 18. I was 18, but I had no job. I just left school, and then 6 months after IB, we moved to Switzerland. So in
Ah,
that phase, I had no money. I was,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
But
and
how old are you now?
I'm get 38, brother.
Oh,
I
damn.
start 2000. I start
Hmm.
2000. Battle of the Year 2000 was the first thing I saw.
Okay.
I saw Benny do 12 air flare, then he goes back and he does locking.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That was
Next level.
that, and then it took me. And then All Battles All 2001. After I saw All Battles All 2001, and I see Leo do one hand jump and everybody go crazy, I said
Yeah.
to myself, I'm gonna be a b-boy forever,
Wow.
and I wanna have this move and once in my lifetime make the whole event go crazy. I did both. Thank God I did both. Yeah. So that's why when I'm at IBE, I always say to the people, there is nobody who's more happier to be there than me.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because IBE gave me everything. And the first time I host there 2 years ago was also the Timeless Titans, but it was reminiscent about the time in Rotterdam. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah, exactly.
remember
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Actually, did you know that whole event was a project done by the students of a breaking school that me and Ray from Illusionary
Yeah, I
started?
know Aram.
Yeah, yeah. So they were the first students to do that 3-year education.
Hmm.
And it was a mad, bro. I'm so proud of this project because they asked me during COVID, yo, you think it's possible to start a 3-year education for breaking? And I'm like, wait a minute, so they get a diploma? Yeah, but like, so
Yeah,
what
yeah,
does that,
he told me all about
So,
this. That's amazing.
yo, and we did it, and now the kids, we just basically we prepare them for the working field, whatever
Yeah,
it may be, right? And
yeah, yeah.
and our promise is not we're gonna make you the best breaker. We try to basically get the best breakers
Oh,
that
but
already
you give them
want to
the
go.
you give them the knowledge they need, right?
Yo, and we spoke with people before we decided we're gonna do it with like all people that we know in Holland that live from breaking, right?
Hmm.
So this is people like of course Manoli, but also Tyrone, also Nobunaga, also Nick, like a lot of people that, and it's amazing how many talents we have in Holland, right? That actually have built a living around breaking.
Hmm.
And we all asked them like, yo, you think it's possible? And everybody first a bit skeptic, like, but what do they learn like that you cannot learn in a room? And then we pointed out, well, nobody will tell you how to write an invoice in training room. And if you fuck up your context, like you will not get any jobs, like because you have two reputations where you work. Your reputation of being a good breaker is important, but being professional, if you screw that one up, like that
That,
one is gonna like close all the doors for you,
yes,
everything. So
100%.
they were like, if we can learn them in 3 years, what took us our whole career, well, why not? So everybody like helping out, sharing knowledge, and it's amazing, man.
I mean,
Like
the
it's
guys do an amazing job organizing, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Been to
No,
so
they did
many
good.
I've been to so many events as a host and they did
Oh, but they're special also. Like they really like they stood out with
yeah,
that talent.
yes.
Yeah.
And then I hosted that battle,
Yeah.
and it came full circle, you know. And then I said, because the motto was, "Can you still dig it?" That was the
Yeah.
motto, bro. And I was standing there, and like Mario B, I did it 3 times, you know. And with the third
Uh,
time, "Can you still dig it?" Bro,
yeah,
I made a vlog of it, and when you see me walking off, I was like this. "Ah!"
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I couldn't believe it. You know,
That's beautiful.
bro, 20 years before, I
Yeah.
continue breaking because of this, and then I'm there, and bro. That's why I love
Crazy.
breaking. It's a love our culture. It's so crazy.
That's what's up. And you know where the quote, where that line comes from, right?
From the Warriors, yes, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah, of course.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
for the people that don't know, they
Yes.
should
And what I
Google.
wanted to say first was, we also dance in the club all the times, you know,
Right.
where we went to the club, and then when good music came, we took over, nobody danced anymore, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
They were just watching. So when I know exactly what I wanted to say. Cat Nice told me they went to Battle of the Year, right? And Tyrone organized everything. And then
Yeah.
Cat Nice said to Tyrone, "Man, I have all these songs. I have all
Yeah.
of them."
Yeah.
And then Tyrone said to him, "Yeah, really? Okay, let's go. Then we do our own thing."
Yeah.
So you've been to the first IBE?
And we were on stage. We were on the flyer. We actually were invited to do a showcase.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was like I think three groups.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just for fun. I think Starforce was there, and I'm not sure. Maybe there was a crew with Aruna in it, or was the year after? I think it was Red. Like there was a Beagle crew.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it was mainly us and an international guest of freaking high level. So
Mm-hmm.
like Flying Steps was there, Second to None was there, like a lot of crazy Belgians was there, and then the Germans, like the level was so high, the circles were on fire.
Nice.
Like there's footage of the first IBE where you see us in a little small theater room and the floor is all slippery because it was so hot. Like people
Yes.
were like going off and sweating, and the floor became wet. And you see people with towels cleaning the floor, and you see Paolo going off, and I actually that's a funny story. Like you know how everybody got an inspiration, right? But when I saw the videotape of Battle of the Year '95 with Out of Control against Flying Steps, I like I wanted to be Speedy, bro. Like, cause Speedy, like, and he was like so explosive, and they were dancing to funk, which I never heard. I never heard breakers dance to funk. Cause in Europe, for some reason, in Germany and Holland, everybody was listening to electro. But then they actually were playing James Brown, and then
Okay.
yeah, and then people were like, yeah, but that's the original music, and like, huh? Oh, really? Because in all the documentaries, like it was Arthur Baker in Beat Street, and then it was like the Cold Cross Brothers in Wild Style. So it was already rap, but
Mm-hmm.
like this really hardcore like James Brown funk. I never heard it until I saw that battle with Out of Control going crazy with the locking routine and Speedy, and it just somehow it made sense. So that's also how I was introduced to funk and break beats. That's
Mm.
because they would also play they played those mixtapes, James Brown mixtapes. But anyway, he would wear this like burgundy mock neck and a black track pants, and I would look for years like that. But my mock neck was not a mock neck because I didn't know what a mock neck was. I didn't know where to get it because the only people that had him in New York, had him from New York, right?
You cannot just go and buy them.
I know I bought like a women's sort of shirt that was like I don't know from polyester or something. It was really thin, but for me it looked like a mock neck, and I felt like Speedy. It's ridiculous. But
That's so crazy. I also,
anyway,
anyways, I wanted to ask you, who was your like people you looked up to? So at the beginning, it was Speedy.
yeah, on VHS, yeah, like
Yeah.
like somebody like Speedy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like in my close surrounding, of course, it was like the people I trained with.
Of
So
course.
Pascal taught me a lot. But Sylvain, I was always impressed about his arsenal, like the guy from Just for Fun, because
Mm-hmm.
he was already a higher level than the other people because he did it all. He did the locking, he did the hip hop even. He could rap. Like he had crazy flares. I felt the wind coming from his moves. So his head spin was like on point. So that for me was all like,
Yeah.
wow, I meet somebody who can really do those moves that I normally only see on video.
So is
Uh,
power the element you fell in love most?
Um, it's actually hard to say because, of course, I was attracted by tricks coming from skateboarding.
Yes.
So I wanted to do the hardest stuff, but I had like, I also was like, no, I'm not. I left headspin alone for a long time. Everybody wanted to do headspin. I was like, nah, I want flares first, swipes and flares. That was my focus, and turtles and stuff. Um, and but yeah, that was an attraction, but we also were very much into footwork from an early stage. Because I
Mm,
remember Lloyd from Rotterdam, he came to Amsterdam and he said, "Yo, they dance different there." And because in Rotterdam was known for power, like they had the fastest power, but they would just do would do a run of one move, just one only flare or only UFO or only fast windmills. But we would already like we were watching Battle Squad, and we would look at Storm, and we like Storm for me was like for
very cool.
power, like wow, he like the way he made everything flow into each other, like from swipe to baby mill back to swipe like that. Those form changes, like I was like a magnet to it. Like wow, how did he do it? Wow, how does he make it look so effortless? So that for sure was an attraction, but also Amigo doing back rocks. And we had this tape called Let's Break from Sonny T. It's like a compilation. Like Sonny T would travel and he would collect footage, and it's called Let's Break. He has Let's Break 1 and 2. And with this 2, he actually goes also to LA, and we had it on VHS. I would watch it like daily. And it also had Easy Rock in there. And I had seen Easy Rock, of course, live at Battle Year 96 because he was dancing with Funky Gross and Grief. And he did the rainbow, and he had like the tail,
The
like
red
the
team.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like this was like a b-boy haircut, right? And it was like mad fresh. But anyways, like people like Amigo and also Emilio from Italy,
Mhm.
would like and Kid Head, they would do like the most beautiful back rocks, like really high, pop, 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 and then look almost like footwork. And actually, like Maurizio also had like really like Maurizio for me, like he was like a combination of everything. Like
Mauricio maybe has the highest flair,
it's insane.
and it's
Insane.
like
Sometimes he falls out of it and it's raw, a lot of times like things he gets angry because like he wants to still go to a 90 and it doesn't work, but like just his the crazy power when he starts a power run or his windmills or his backspin. And his step mills, bro, his step mills, if you look at it, the step mills of Mauricio, actually, I spoke to Storm and he said that for a long time they thought tap mills was an invention of, I think, Emilio from, he was also
okay.
in Battle Squad.
Yeah, yeah,
They wouldn't touch it. They say, no, it's his move.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it was.
And later also, I think people started doing it, and Mauricio has tap mills that look exactly like swipes, but just on his back. But so big, so fast. It's not like, oh, I fall and I tap my foot. No, it's boom, vee, boom, vee. And that was mad inspiration for me also, to have those kind of moves.
Yeah.
So I think the way to describe it, like I was really attracted by people that did power with style and
Mhm.
style with power.
Yes, 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 yes.
You know?
I
So,
mean,
so because
till
this is
the,
another thing you will probably remember. When the only if you were good, you were fast. You had to
yeah,
be fast.
you had to be fast,
So
definitely.
everybody that was slow was not good.
Yeah,
Like this was a
definitely.
really weird rule, and especially in Germany, everybody was fast, and it was scary. Like, oh, then they must be good. Like it was a weird rule.
The also this in this time period, there was I mean German in Europe. I think Germany was the best, right? With
For a long time.
the
I
storm
mean,
and
depends what you appreciate. Because, for
yeah.
instance, if you appreciate power, Germany was always very clean,
Mm,
like high level, but it always lacked a little bit of the character and playfulness that you would find in France, where they would dance more.
mm-hmm.
And then Hungary took it even to another level when it
Yes,
came to power,
yes.
because they were machines, like just like only power.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Germany, I think at the time that Battle Squad was really ruling,
Mm-hmm.
also being on FIFA, be having this television program with live DJs and
Mm-hmm.
Cool Herc and educating.
Yeah.
This was for me the prime time of Germany, that they had so much knowledge. But as soon as they started traveling, Germany sort of like,
Hmm.
I don't know, it didn't have it anymore. It didn't have those spokespersons, those people that would like pass on knowledge,
Hmm.
in my opinion,
Hmm.
you know?
So then around end of the 90s, of course, in Europe, was there only Battle of the Year, or was there already like UK champs and other big events, or was just
No,
like
98 they started also with UK champs, maybe 97.
hmm
So, and the first IBE was 98.
hmm
So Germany, like IBE, sorry, Battle of the Year, of course, started in 1990,
hmm
91, but then it had a different name. I think the official first one was 91 or 92.
hmm
And then it became an international event that invited everybody. Um, but yeah, there was like events coming up like end of the 90s for sure everywhere. UK
Yeah.
champs, we had Back to Planet Rock, which was pretty big in Holland.
Hmm.
Um, and yes, and
And nowadays you find out from events when you look at Instagram, there is the flyer and everything and that.
yeah.
How was it back in the days? Did you get how did you get the information when the next jam is? Because internet back then was not really a thing.
No, that's actually very interesting. Flyers, a lot of flyers.
There was flyers, right?
It was always flyers, and everybody. That's also, I think, like we would always follow where the hip hop went. So everything that had to do with hip hop, if it was a graffiti jam, we would be there because there was like people playing music
Yeah,
and DJ.
because every time all elements were there, right?
Yeah, a lot of times. A
Hmm.
lot of times. Like there was like a group of graffiti writers that my brother was part of. They would go to hip hop concerts all the time, but they would live like 2 hours from Amsterdam. But they would come and then just be there drinking beer. And so and all the promoters, they would always have flyers at these places. They would hand out flyers.
Hmm.
So flyers was that was the way. And a lot of times there was also booths, how do you call it? Like these stands where they sell stuff like mixtapes,
Ah,
shirts,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
and flyers was always flyers, stickers, whatever.
Mhm.
So that's you would yeah, from jam to jam you would collect your flyers
Yes, yes.
and
Hmm.
check it out. And even magazines. In
Yeah. Oh,
magazines,
yeah,
like
that's
for
the one
instance,
I was to
Battle of
say.
the
Yeah.
Year, they had like advertisements of events. So for instance, the Battle of the Year 96, I knew it because we had a magazine, a hip hop magazine that had a flyer in there or an announcement that Battle of the Year would be and what dates and where.
Hmm.
So that's and then we just took a train.
That was the
No
best
cell
time.
phone.
Best time.
Yo,
Best times.
it's crazy,
Hiding,
right?
hiding for the controller. Uh, so around this time, we had so many crew. It was all about crew battles, right?
Yeah,
Everywhere
yeah,
you look is just crew battles. So, and you
yeah,
said around end of the 90s, the battle scene also started in Netherlands, right?
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
IBE was bigger and bigger after the millennium, 2001, 2. So, can you tell us a little bit about that time? Who were some of the best crews, and did you had some legendary meetings in some battles?
Yeah. So basically, what happened is like Tyrone plays a very important part in Holland when
Okay.
it comes to organizing and creating structure
Mm-hmm.
because he started with the bus tours, then he started organizing IBE, which was basically instead of us traveling to another country, bringing all the good ones to our country, which is direct inspiration.
Yeah.
And then I think a year later, he started organizing the Dutch BBoy champs.
Yes.
They basically
ABC.
every year. So this was only for Dutch crews. So we had something to look
Ah,
forward to.
back then you mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And there was also Spin-Off, which was a subsidized breaking event in Amsterdam, which was also starting around 99, 2000, and it was all about crews, always like crews.
Yeah.
And they all basically used Battle of the Year as a model, like, okay, you invite crews and then a crew to crew battles, and it was only crew battles, basically. There was no one-on-ones. Um, and the crews in Holland, they started growing very fast after the first IBE, like very fast. Because first it was just a lot of crews, like including Turn It Loose. It was a combination of 80s B-boys
Mm-hmm.
that started again
Mm-hmm.
with young cats.
Mm-hmm.
And then in our crew, there was like two or three skaters, two, I think,
Okay.
for some reason. like we were the young bloods, and there was like an age difference of let's say 7 or 10 years with the older
Almost a
generation.
generation, right?
Yeah. But then in Rotterdam, so in Rotterdam you had the O&O B-boys with Carlos and Mario also in there and Paulo, like just heavy hitters, big names still from the 80s.
Hmm.
But then they would very soon get crews like Star Force, like the God Skills, which became another got they got another name later on. Um, and so younger crews would start, which was just young kids
No OGs.
that yeah, they got classes or not classes actually, but they got mentorship in training rooms by the 80s B-boys. But then they started their own little thing. They started their own cliques. And these started growing very fast. So in Den Haag, you had Styles Confidential from T-Bone.
Oh, nice.
Like they started early on, but they also had a very strong, in Den Haag, they had a strong hip hop scene. Like I remember being in a basement also there with beatboxing going on, a circle. Like there was so much going on. Like it was fresh. Um, so yeah, like so younger crews started coming up. You got One of a Kind, the crew of we call them Lucci,
That was
like
EXG before,
Lucas.
right?
Sorry,
That
and
was
it
the,
became Extraordinary
yeah.
Gentlemen. Yeah. So One of a Kind, they started very early. And in the time of One of a Kind, they were one of the first that got like some sort of sponsorship of Red Bull. So they would like flip off trucks and yeah. But just
Really?
as because Red Bull was then sort of starting to become a brand. Yeah, you should ask Lucas about it. But
Oh,
yeah.
hmm.
Yeah, it was interesting. But we were sponsored by Carhartt, for instance, from 98 to 2009. Yeah, 98 to 2008 for 10 years straight. We got gear. Like it was insane. Yeah.
Nice.
And Carhartt back then they were just before, of course, they were like a workers
Yes,
brand
yes.
and then they were going street, right? So they would be in all the magazines and all the hip hop shops, and then we would rock it. Like we could get outfits for the summer, for the winter each year.
So
Like,
fresh.
yeah, but there was like, yeah, there's quite a lot of crews. Actually, there's a poster that was developed, and it's a tree in the form of a tree, a
Ooh,
project from Tyrone, and I helped with it as well, where we reached out to all the crews in Holland to ask them about different time periods, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s,
nice.
we actually we printed a poster of it. And a lot of research went into it, like who were the biggest crews in the
Can you
80s?
send me the picture? I will put
I
it
will.
in.
I will. Yeah. It's called the Breaking Tree. It's
Ah,
a dope project, and a lot of people were interviewed, and there was one rule: you cannot mention your own crew. Only the crews in your period that were known, and other people need to mention you. Otherwise, you were not important.
I
And
mean,
that
that's a good point, you know?
yeah, and the guys who organized it, they actually had some really good research techniques. So they would collect all the information, then they made three columns: the cruise that was mentioned by everybody, the cruise that was only mentioned a few times, and the cruise that was only mentioned once. And then they put every generation on one table, look at the list. Do you agree with the names? And people would be like, but actually that crew that only existed for one week, we can take it off. But that crew only mentioned once, for real, they were the biggest. And then so that's how we put it. And then the idea was to confront people with the poster and then collect again all the people that were like, yo, wait, I should be on there, and that's the wrong date. And so that
And
happened, but
that I think this every country should have that.
yeah,
You
no,
know?
for real,
Every
for
country.
real.
I mean, I sort of try to find out these things with the breaking show, you know?
Yeah,
Like
actually, it's a nice story. It was an idea from Tyrone,
mhm.
and this is a premiere because he has not seen this yet. I have been having this thing in my home.
Breaking
It's not
news.
no. I'm going to show it. But he was working at a event organizing, how do you call it, bureau, whatever. Like, and on his wall there was this Blue Note jazz poster, and that's where I got his inspiration from because it's a big ass poster which shows the history of jazz, and it has all the connections. And I looked it up, and I got it from, and I always forget to give it to him, but I have it here, and it's a present. And so whenever he sees this, he knows he can collect it. But
Well,
check.
I will tag him so he don't forget it.
So let me see
Nah.
which one it is. Actually, it might be a lucky day. No. I thought maybe I also have the breaking poster, but it has been standing in my room forever. Oh, I didn't even open it yet.
I mean, it's not like you judge at almost every event he's organizing. So
Say what?
it's not like you judge almost every event he's
No, it's true.
organizing.
I always forget it. But okay, it's called the blue nail poster. But Tyrone, if you see it, I have it right here for you.
No
I didn't
problem.
even unpack it yet,
No
but
problem.
I wanted to put it in for him to put it in his office, because it's insane and it's old, but it in the brand. So you said you see a tree and it starts. I don't know what it starts with, like Motown or whatever, and it
Yes, yes.
branches out, and in all the way in the end of the branch is there's the styles of hip hop already coming up. It's super dope. But I don't know who made that, but they put
Well,
so much work.
it is knowledge. You can never have too much knowledge. This is something you can never have too much. Uh,
Yeah, but it is what you do with it, though.
so nowadays, when we look now, 25 years later, Netherlands B-boys and B-girls belong on the top. Uh, you also saw it at the Olympics. You see it with the crews, Ruggeds,
Yeah.
they represent, Hustle Kids, they represent. What do you think made Dutch breaking develop so good skills? So now you can call yourselves like one of the top countries in the whole world.
I mean, it's a combination of things. So, like, first of all, we're in between all these high-level countries, and we had a lot of access to information, right? Because information is key,
Mhm.
and I think we're pretty well connected to a lot of information, and that combined with like very stubborn sort of critical attitude of a lot of people, where they don't just follow; they always have their own opinion about things. So that it creates a lot of people they're like, oh, so nah, you do it this way, I'm gonna do it that way. So
Mhm.
if I look at breaking in Holland, like it's amazing how much difference there is between crews, approaches, but still we're all cool with each other, like because we're so small, we meet each other all the time at every
Yes, yes,
jam.
yes, yes.
Because I've also been to countries like Sweden where they have a very hard time to keep the scene together because there's so much woods and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
distance and then usually a lot of politics and bullshit and nobody who is mediating between it, and for some reason in Holland I feel a lot of people just they get along and this helps a lot.
Hmm.
We're also blessed with, I think, in Europe in general, to have subsidy for so many things. Subsidy for theater, for education, for arts, for if you want to rent a room, it's if you speak to people in the US, like it's such a big difference, like they're for us to have subsidized events, like they cannot even imagine it. Like it's everything that comes from the door, or you have to have some sponsor or an uncle, and that's the only way they can fix it. And it's grassroots or it's commercial. But for us, like it's normal to not pay for a room for a
Yeah,
training session,
yeah.
to get prize money from we don't even know where,
Hmm.
you know?
Hmm.
So I think all of these things, um, and yeah, and also people like organizing the right events, like the hype that IBE brought with All Battles All, and like I've been working with Tyrone for a long time. Like I actually started working for IBE directly in 2009 or 10.
Ah, nice.
Also in the summer, I like we did a lot of work with shows and teaching. So
Hmm.
in the summer there's a break. So I was like, like, where can I work? And I called Tyrone like, yo, can I help with putting the floor or getting guests from the airport? He's like,
Ah,
what are you
nice.
talking about? I need you to as a sparring partner for, creating the program and stuff. I'm like,
Nice, nice.
serious? Yeah. And he said, yeah, actually, by the way, you studied philosophy and stuff. Hey, you can talk, right? Like, you think you can host a talk show? I'm like, what? I never held a mic, right? But I always went to the talks because I like you said, like the knowledge is important.
Mm.
And I've always considered myself a student. So I was like, okay. So I started coming up with talk show topics and just interview people. And that's how I met a lot of the like people that I only saw on VHS.
Mhm.
But Tyrone, like he always come up with concepts like the total call out or the I don't know if you know the original concept of World Bieber Classic, where they would actually
Draw the
uh,
partners.
so they first of all they would combine, of course, invites with each other to make crazy duos. But then he had also call out cards for during the prelim. So people would come up. They would hand in their card like I want a battle, and then all the people on the side would watch. Okay, who's stepping up to play, and
Ah, this
then
is this is Tyrone's
and
idea.
I think it was because later he gave it to Nick, so Nick is
Yes, yes.
running it. But like Tyrone already, like for sure, Tyrone came up with total call out, which was a concept where he would have invited people, and then you could give your battle card
No
to
better.
whoever you wanted to call out. A seven to smoke, of course, came from Rotterdam. A lot of people don't know, but it was
Yes, so
invented
the original seven to smoke rule is to win, you have to smoke, you have to get 7 points in a row.
in a row. Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is the
Or
original.
that, yeah, but that's still like we still apply it. I do an event in Amsterdam already for a lot of years called Break a Leg, and for the last 6 or 7 years, I only do seven to smoke.
Ah,
And
no.
the first time I printed a flyer with the original rules, I invited the creators, and basically it's the rules are first of all 8 dancers, not seven. A lot of people do
Yeah.
seven,
Because
but
you
you
have to
need to smoke
smoke.
7 dancers.
Yes, seven to smoke.
And then, of course, like you said, if you smoke seven, you smoke the whole lineup, so you're done.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean if you go in and out at back of the line and you're the first one to have seven that you win. No, then there's a time limit, which I think is 20 minutes.
Ah,
It
okay.
used to be 30 or something, but now it's like they always say
But
20.
when I used to do them, I always did like 30 minutes time limit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's different.
So who
But
are
it's
the
such a
creators?
dope. Sorry?
Who are the creators of Seven to Smoke?
So it was like Mario was in that room for sure. Uh, then there's a guy called Red, um, who he had a different name. I forgot his other name. He's from God Skills,
Hmm.
and he claims to have come up with the seven to smoke because smoking was a language that they
Yeah.
already used for like I smoked you. Starforce was there. This is a crew that Rabani was used to be in,
Oh, okay.
or yeah, he started with. Rabani actually, I think
He
he
won the
took the
first
first
one.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because they introduced the concept at IBE, I think 2002.
Yeah. And I never saw the whole battle because it got cut off in Salah's third round or something.
Ah, yeah,
I
yeah,
never
yeah.
saw it till this day. I never saw it.
It might still, I think
I
it's
saw
on.
Rabani's rounds. There were.
Yeah, yeah, he was on another level. Yeah, 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 yeah. But also a different approach again.
Mm,
Very intricate,
mm.
small, a lot of chairs.
No, no classics, no classic style.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that again shows the diversity in Holland, like because you had power heads, then you had like all
Yeah.
different type of approaches, which I
So
think
there
is
is many people who contributed to
yeah.
finding out the system.
You mean the Seven to Smoke?
Yeah, yeah.
It was just a game that they did in their local training spot. And they first did
Mm.
it with more people or less, I don't know, but they for some reason they came with seven.
One friend of mine said, "Hey, do it with more people and then call it 7 to 20." And I say, "Stupid motherfucker, then you call it 20 to smoke."
Yeah, but
7 to 20, bro.
it if you look around the world, how many people do the concept and make different rules, do it with duos? How do you do it with a duo? I don't know.
Ah, there is
What
there is
to
actually one, yes, in Switzerland.
Yeah, but and then they do it in house, they do it in whacking, they do it in whatever they do it.
You saw that one in Hawaii in Endless Summer Jam, what they do, the
No.
concept. It's you have 3 lives, right?
Okay.
You have 3 lives, and it's
Yeah.
also, I think, 8 people. And when you lose, now let's say when you win, you go back, and the loser has to stay. And if
Right.
you lose 3 rounds, you lose 3 lives, you're out.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You,
Crazy.
you saw this?
No.
It's
But
very,
it reminds me of a concept a crewmate of me came up with, and he never did it.
bro, it's very nice battle. It's
It's
very
dope.
nice battle.
But it's funny that the loser stays, right? Because he had a battle concept, and I'm gonna throw it away in the world now. It was called Kill the Ego.
Okay.
And the same thing. So you have the pyramid, right? That the winner goes on, but he said there's also a negative pyramid on the bottom.
Yeah.
And he said we line up all the losers And if you lose, you need to stay. So let's say there's 16 people. If you lose, you have to stay. In the end, you lost. The person that is the ultimate loser. He lost against everyone.
Yeah.
He's still standing there. So your objective is to get out as soon as possible. You know, just
Oh,
win and go out.
oh my.
So
Then it's more ego, even more ego then. Yeah.
it's kill the ego. So it's
Oh,
dope.
that's
We never
nice.
did it.
That's nice.
Yo, there's so many games people come up with, and I think or could come up with, but they
Mhm.
don't. Like a lot of people stick to the script.
We always used to play loser in practice.
How's what's the rule?
Like you do a move, and if you don't
Oh,
get it,
like break.
yeah, like break, yeah. But we
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it loser, not break,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
because break.
Yeah, yeah. Loser.
You want to make fun of him, right? So you say loser.
Remember the times that we needed best losers to come back because people had fucked up brackets
Yeah, yeah, like the lucky loser,
and the lucky, yeah.
lucky
But
loser.
they call it the best loser and then they lose again usually. You lose twice.
That's crazy. Actually, you saw Summer Dance Forever, what they do now, what the
Oh
company,
yeah.
they bring back the losers.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's creative.
So it's coming.
I tried to understand the explanation, but like it was like
I mean, it's kind of, I see the point that they want to mix it up a little bit, but it's kind of, I don't know, because you're already like before the final, and then people come who lose in the first round, like
no, I think the people that
you can
go
choose,
through,
you can choose
they
the,
choose somebody they feel that deserves to have gone through. So
yeah,
it doesn't necessarily need to be the first round, I think.
but
It's
it can, but it can.
no, it can, but look,
Yeah.
if you end up if your first round is against somebody who's really good,
Yeah.
then maybe you deserve that spot,
I
you
mean,
know?
we will see. We will see how it's gonna be.
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, I think the objective there is more like entertainment, excitement than fairness.
Mhm. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like I said, I think they just want to mix it up. So because it's already crazy. You've been there for sure, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. A lot of times.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's dope. And I mean, what I like about the way John does it, because he also does it festival style, like they got a theater night, but and like some of these prelims are long as like crazy. They start at 10 and then the event final is at 2 o'clock at night,
Yeah,
you know. But he always makes breaks where people all join the dance floor, and he has the best DJs because he comes from the club, so he knows
yeah,
what it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
I really like the fact that John always brings people back to the the
Hmm.
the concept of
So,
dancing in a
so
club.
he already also did breaking?
No,
Because
no.
I
He
saw,
actually,
I,
the
no, no,
history
no.
of
I
John
mean,
is
there
very
was,
interesting.
well,
Like he came, he did a lot of shows with UK jazz dancers, like
okay.
some of the best from London. And the UK jazz style, people in Japan really like it, but it's very small. It's like footwork. They do another version in France, but it's different. But the UK one is to really fast jazz. They're all dressed up in suits, like super classy, and their footwork is insane.
Hmm.
You know, they do knee drops and spins and stuff, and just really fast jazz. And it comes from the clubs as well,
Hmm.
you know. And he was doing a lot of shows with Gary Nurse, with Levi, with like some OGs, and they were all in Amsterdam. And they would always be in the clubs.
Hmm.
And for some reason, that style transfers very easily to house. So they have a lot of the steps and
I
fast
see.
footwork that you see in
But
house.
there was breaking battles. There was breaking battles. I remember.
Actually, you mean at Summer Dance? Well,
Yes, yes.
for a short period.
Yeah,
For a
yeah.
short period. Like I remember the spin-off, which was the event that also started around the same time as IBE. They quit. Like the organization was like, I don't know, they were getting too old, out of touch with the scene, and they gave it to John. And John, I think he did it for 1 or 2 years.
And then it turned
But as a
into.
sort of side program, and
Mm,
he even did I think top rock categories
mm.
for a few
What
years.
was the
Because
battle?
John started with organizing the Just a Boo prelim, and then when that worked out very well, he also came up with the summer dance. And
That was that Juste Boo qualifying Holland. There was the legendary round for the Ghetto Funk, right? When they did the
yeah,
rocking together.
yo,
This was
uh,
the, yeah, yeah. Um,
Ghetto funk, man. That's another Dutch creation. What the hell, man?
yes, yes, definitely. Yeah, yeah. That's
Right?
crazy. That's crazy.
Or the three girls. I always forget their names. They're doing a lot of TikToks. Like,
The Nora, Yora, and Rosa.
yo, yo, those or Shy. Like, there's a few guys, Kenzo and Shy. Like,
Mhm.
they're like more into the hip hop, but like on a level, bro. Like traveling the world, being in Japan all the time. Like Kevin Paradox. Like, there's like so
Yeah,
many
yeah, yeah. I know him
good
too.
dancers.
Yeah,
Like young,
yeah, yeah.
killing it.
Mhm.
It's yo, it's
And you
fresh
can be proud. Netherlands can definitely be proud of the dancers.
for sure.
Definitely, definitely. So, it's already getting late. My God. We're gonna do the fave five now. Yeah, where we talk about the
All right.
favorite five things. Can be four, can be just one, but fave five, you know. So
All
we
right.
start classic always. Your favorite five B-boys all time.
Oh,
Just,
snap.
but not like he's number one, he's number five. Just
Right. Mm, okay, let's see. I put Mauricio in the list for
oh,
sure. Mauri, easy. Um, I put mm, Born.
ooh,
Born is like, yo, his musicality,
can't go wrong with Born.
yo. But just like also how he's a game changer. Talking about that period, somebody is underrated. Atta.
Ah, yes.
Atta, yo, his
I,
cleanness
I
and
started to understand his style when I got older.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's so many dances. Like, let's first of all be clear. Like, I love breaking, and I love no, but for real. So, in if you would talk about an area, I would could come up with people that I'm like, yo, but they're like the best in this shit, like, cause bro, if you look like let's say an area like where Fleo is in from Sweet Technique, then you also need to put Flaco. They also need to put Stripes. Then you also need to put Rabani. Like then the style invaders can also go in there. So there's so many people that do stuff that's like on their level, or then you can even take it back to abstract and Lego. Like breakers like that. I'm like, that's a whole realm. That's insane. But if I think of when I started and I think of Storm, you know then I also think of the rawness of second to none, and the beauty of actual force like Gabin. Like, come on, man. Or somebody like with footwork like freaking Mad Nico. I
Mhm.
don't know if you ever watched footage of Mad Nico, but when I discovered him like very late, I was like, yo, who the hell is this? Like some crazy dude all the way up in Sweden with a style that reminds you of Ken Swift. And then it turns out they met somewhere in history, and they sort of like, the styles crossed. But the new reinvented Ken Swift reminds when he came back in 2000, like Ken Swift needs to be on that list. Like you need to fill. I need to fill it with freaking legends first,
I
who were
mean,
the
you
blueprint.
you mentioned five names, more than
Yeah, fuck
five
it. But I
names.
can go on forever because, bro, there's so many people
Of course,
change game
of
changes.
of course. That's why
It's hard. It's unfair. That
there can
question.
be there is no wrong answer, you know.
No, I guess so. Yeah.
Of course, we have to talk about the big girls too.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
some of your
Uh,
favorite big girls.
I, the beagle that blew me away when I saw her top rocks was Taya. Because
Fire.
people show me Taya like, no, but because AT was fresh, right? When she came, it's like, yo. And then people said, no, but she was mentored by Taya. You should
Yeah,
see her. She was smoking B-boys. I
that's
was
where
like,
she
oh,
comes.
snap. Already just her Indian step is like, damn, So C for sure, for sure. Um, Let me see, B girls. Royal, just to jump to the here and the now. Like Royal,
Fire, yes.
from all the like, I know I've seen your videos and how you always are obsessed with the young talent coming from China, but she's different, man. She's not like what we've seen coming from China. Like, and I spoke to Poe a lot, and like they invested in her a lot to make her understand like just the culture, the dance, and you can tell
Mhm.
when you see her, it's like, yo. This is what's this? How can you have and clean air flares and be on beat and have character and funk and all that, you know? And she did 10 rounds against Nika last
11.
weekend.
Yeah.
Bro, or 11. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 11 rounds. And the last round they were still throwing everything. It's like, yo, there's machines out there.
We would
I
never
put Nika in
know.
my list. I put Nika because when I saw Nika, like, see, now we might like look overhyped because he became Rebel All-Star and she won like everything and whatever. But when I first saw her, like it was so refreshing to see like a B-girl with
Yes,
that form. The
yes.
same I have with Atta, you know, like
He's like an
there,
old school B-boy.
yo, yo, but there's so much beauty
Hmm.
in clean form. Like somebody like Luigi, and
Ah,
now we're not talking about B-girls anymore, but the form of Luigi when he does his stuff, yo, bro. Actually, there's similarities between Nika and Luigi with
uh, in my opinion, I think when it's a battle like who can roast the most, I think Nika can smoke 80% of all breakers out there.
yeah,
Because her
yeah,
stamina is not is
yeah.
the
But
crazy.
I mean, like I've analyzed a lot, right? What you run out of when you do a lot of runs.
Nice, yes.
So towards the final, you run out of ideas or
Hmm.
stamina or both.
Hmm.
And then there's a difference between where people get their extra rounds from, right?
Hmm.
So if your muscles are totally tired and your mind is empty,
Hmm.
some people are blocked, like it just becomes nothing,
Hmm.
you know? But then there's the musical people that if there's a new song, there's new material. And as there's a few breakers that actually always get their is that's their source
That,
of,
that's a really good
you
point.
know? And when you see this happening, because I've been judging a lot of battles where like everybody's repeating on all sides,
Mhm.
but or they run out of moves or out of gas. So it becomes a bit more sloppy. You know, you can see the power is gone. I did like they have to dig deep. But then some people just they turn the switch and like, huh, let's just only follow the music and
Yes,
surprise you with what the
yes,
music does.
yes.
And this is such a hidden,
I mean, this is the
it's a
highest
cheap,
level. This is the
yo,
highest level for me.
it's
Yeah.
the highest level.
Because you're
And
so free.
I think with Nika, she will roast a lot of people because
Yes,
of good
but she's
form.
not there yet.
It yeah, it the formula starts looking the same after a while. But
Yes,
every brand has this, you know.
yes.
But
Oh, you said it really good. You said it really
yeah,
good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, man. But we only have three Beagles now. I'm gonna shout out. Let's see, Baby Love or Bubbles.
Oh,
Some old school Beagles, you
let's
know.
say Rocksteady.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Even though if you talk to Rocksteady, they were not. They were like, no, but Baby Love wasn't our best Beagle.
Okay.
But she just no, she
Was
just got
just
the
the
part.
most famous one.
Yeah, she became famous because she got the part, and the director wanted her. But Lex had a lot of other
Yeah,
Beagles
yeah,
that
yeah.
said were better. Um, yeah, I want to give props to Hurricane, but more for what he does
Okay.
in Paris,
Mhm.
because he's just a mad activist.
Yes.
But I think like yeah, there's so many fresh Beagles, bro. Bonita is dope.
Mhm.
You know, Jay Skills is dope. You know, Asia One used to be like
Oh, yeah.
a powerhouse. Beta, you know, fuck, man. There's so many Beagles that paved the way. That and actually, we should give props to the Beagles that were fighting their way in when it was still dominated by B-boys.
Yeah,
There was no
yeah.
rivalry
Because
battles, nothing, you know.
e-girling 20 years ago was
Yeah.
completely different.
Oh hell yeah.
Completely.
No, for sure. You know, you had to be different. You know, hanging with the boys, being in these raw ciphers. You know, it's insane. Like what they had to go through.
So shout outs to them for all the women now
Oh
rocking
hell
this
yeah.
crazy level. This is I can't say anything. I said so many things. Bro, this crazy big girl 10 years, she does 150 afla. I mean,
Yeah.
she's 3 minutes on her hands. I mean,
Yeah.
come on, come
Yeah.
on, come on. So nice shot to the big girls. Five of your favorite battles you battled.
Ah, that's funny, man. Let's start with the classic sort of one that happens to you when you judge. So it was a call-out battle.
Ah,
And I was judging with Kazama from Def Dogs
oh
and
yeah,
with Kudo from EXG. And it was a very small local jam. And we were finished. I think James won with Kids Colombia. Like they were super small, like kids. This is like I don't know when this battle took place. Maybe 2009, not sure. But so then a guy grabs the mic, a guy from HDHD, always doing hardcore
yeah,
damage,
yeah.
Quincy, Queens. And he says, "Yeah, I want to give a call out to Jurskee." And I'm like, fuck, okay, let's go. I've been sitting on the chair, I'm cold. And I was just like, okay, whatever. I saw it coming because he gave me looks when I pointed against him because he had one battle where I vote against him, but the other two make
Yes.
him go another round. And then we all three vote him out, but he was like, he had some grudge, because he gave me this look like you always vote against me. And now let's go.
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, fuck it. And my only objective was to do a lot of rounds, because I was like, yo, I'm cold. Let's go deep. We ended up doing 9 rounds,
Ooh.
which was like it was okay, but um, like there was a style class, and that's why it was so interesting because later we talked and we sort of like became we understood each other better after that, because I would always be like, yo, you're searching something on the floor. You're very hyperactive, but what are you doing? Like your form is not clean. I wouldn't say these things, but that's what was my motivation to be like, yo, you screamed, but I didn't understand what you're saying. Sorry, you lose this battle. But he had a lot of like always his crew would hype him and everybody would hype him. So in his head, he was killing it because he was
Yes.
like, and if you see him dance, like he's still active. He actually entered the rocking battle at the Freedom City last week.
Nice.
But he has like high energy, like always with the dreads, with the braids flying around. And for me, like I'm the opposite. Like I'm calm, cool, and I'm just trying to be clean and make a point. So that exchange for me, it was classic.
Yeah.
Um, and we sat on the stoop like later on, like yeah, like yo, why? Then we talked it out, and I said, yo, like he said, yo, you're really clean. I said, yo, but your energy, man. I wish I had that. We
That's
almost wanted to
that-
exchange.
that's the nice thing, right? You
Yeah,
battle, you get angry at each other, but then you talk and you find
I actually wasn't really angry, but I understood where it was coming from, right?
uh,
So that for me, like I think that was a good battle. Then another battle I did is when I entered the Dirty 30 at IBE. Totally
nice.
spontaneous. And I just did a workshop with it. It was a workshop by Freeze, Mauricio, and Paul One. And we were like sweating. It was like midsummer, right? And big room.
It
And
was already warm.
he was drilling us. And then there was the Dirty 30. And I think um it was Menno, Paul One, and or a guy that organized it, or it was Mauricio. But I remember it was all three people that I really appreciated their opinion.
Mhm.
And I just entered like totally free, like, oh, let's go. I didn't battle in a long time. And I just threw my stuff. I won my first pre-selection. And the second guy, I was like, oh, let's do some old school, the circle power move sort of step. And I was just having fun with it. I threw a backflip
That's the
and
best thing. If you don't care about the outcoming and just
yeah.
that.
And then I ended up against Frankie Flav. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is
Mm.
Frankie Flav. And I was like, I wouldn't say starstruck, but it's like just the fact that this dude has like a history of battling and he's now
Yeah.
here. I started searching and I felt like, ah, fuck, what did I
Yeah.
already do? And
The
because I
fun
wasn't
was gone.
battling, like I was like trying to dig, what do I still have left? And all the stuff that I had left didn't have the same freedom and impact, So it just I lost that battle. And I, but then like for me, what was most valuable, and I think this happens to a lot of people that battle, is the feedback that I got from the judges, because they
Nice.
never saw this side of me. Some of them never even saw me in a battle.
Hmm.
And then Paul was like, "Yo, you could have smoked Frankie, man. He's not that good." I'm like, what are you talking about? No, he has only this kind of stuff, and you have that, and he doesn't have it. So just that whole sort of experience was really fresh. But in
Felt good.
general, like I really haven't battled much, bro. Like
Okay.
I started, we did still battles at Spinoff,
Hmm.
which was in the 2000s. And then we got sort of traumatized because we had like that German style, a lot of information. And then like the new kids, like I told you from Rotterdam, like got skills and also a crew, the Illusionary Rockers from Utrecht. They would be like trying to do the modern moves, but crash on their face, like do elbows and then crash. And we're like, okay, you cannot win a round if you crash because we were very strict with that. But then the people that would judge us would be like, what we did looked too familiar for them, like, oh, that's just the classic swipes, windmills, baby mills. But they try dangerous shit, new shit,
And that's why they win.
and they would win.
Mhm.
And we were like, huh, okay, maybe this battling thing is not for us,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, like basically my story, I feel it's a bit different from a lot of people because I enjoy breaking so much, but my motivation always has been to jam with it, to do like we did a lot of showcases, just pure break showcases. Still till this day. Tomorrow again I have to perform
Nice.
my headspins and my windmills and my shit and my routines, but so it's very deep in me. But like my motivation has never been to prove others that
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah,
best.
yeah. I mean,
Give
around
me a little.
the time I started the millennium, there was nobody wanted to see the complete b-boy. They just wanted to see,
Ah,
because the Koreans came, and then after the Koreans came, the Koreans influenced a lot of in Vienna. All of the b-boys
oh,
wanted
okay.
to be like
Yeah,
Koreans. So in this phase, you didn't really see complete b-boys. You
right.
saw more of the high tricks, high
Yeah,
risk power movers, 90s air
yeah,
chair. When air chair came, it was over. Everybody did
yeah,
air chair. Only air chair. Everybody does air chair.
yeah. Yeah, like you said, like we have it, like you started in a period where it was trends followed by trends followed by
Yes,
trends,
definitely,
all the
definitely.
time.
Man, we used to put our hair like like legitime obstruction. They had this when the hair come like this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Oh shit, you had that too?
I was already living in Switzerland. And I wanted to feel connected with my friends, my crewmates in Vienna. So I,
Oh, you liked it, man.
so I also had the haircut. But I have curly hair, so I had
You had
to
the skinny jeans too with the holes?
no skinny jeans with holes. And
Okay.
I had, because I was still a b-boy, so I had a little baggy still in me. I just had the haircut.
Right.
And nobody in here in Switzerland looked like me except the guys who go to these tectonic clubs and shit. But I was a b-boy. But then I cut
Oh,
it off.
but that's what I mean. The crew of artists too. I don't remember their name, but that like, yo,
Aha, Terror Bunch, yeah.
uh,
Terror Bunch was crazy.
it
Terror,
was some other level. But
Terror.
now when you look back at what they did, yo,
Rubber legs till this day.
yeah,
I think nobody can smoke him
yeah.
in freezes. He had
But
everything.
also with Benji, of course,
Everything.
but like my argument has always been like to understand why I sort of felt disconnected. It's when you train yourself in a language, you first, have to learn the words, then you have to learn the grammatic of how to build a sentence, and then you can talk. But for it to make sense, you need to sort of use the same language. So when I'm in a circle and I came with like sort of a style that was 80s orientated, then influenced by Battle Squad, and then like on top, like just sort of a bit like Skill Methods. It's also influenced by European power, but then also New York, old school. So they have like a mix of both. And then there you're in front of an abstract guy with his foot in his neck without a top rock and doing like the only thing you can say is like, yo, it looks amazing, but you cannot have a conversation because
You can't
it's
exchange.
you cannot exchange. And then I feel we were lost in translation, right? So um that I think also it's because after that the counter movement came with, like I said, with the Circle Kings.
Mhm.
And I feel they really made a statement, back to Foundation. And
Yeah,
then
because
Foundation became a trend. Remember? Foundation was
ah,
a trend.
bro,
And I'm like, yo, but this is not a trend. This is
it
what
was,
it's supposed to be.
we was like, hey, physics does backspin. Why does physics do backspin now?
Mhm. Yo, you saw the windmills of physics when he was
Oh,
training
that's
them?
the.
Yo,
Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
but
But it's
but
true. There was a trend foundation.
Foundation was a trend. Fat laces, graffiti jackets, crew name jackets. And I'm like, no, but this is the real culture.
This is where it comes from, yeah.
Yeah. I saw you had that conversation with Salo
Hmm.
about, having names on your shirts.
So we will talk later about the fashion at the end, but I think it's such a sad part of our culture. You will understand me because you always try to look fresh, and you look fresh. You know the colors combinated, you know the nice fit and everything. But bro, I see so many people dressed like nothing. And it has nothing to do to like to be like being shallow or anything, or like, it's just I think it's a big part of it.
Bro, that's the expression part. That's the showing who you are, That's the flamboyant part. Like, yo, that if you look at those jams in the 90s, like look at how Mauricio was dressed, bro.
They were always
How
dressed.
how he would come in with a bubble jacket like crazy and then just start busting his
Yeah,
moves,
yeah.
It's
For us, this was so important. Also, I grew when I started breaking, there was this the video clip era, Missy Elliott, Method Man,
of
B2K, You Got Served came, and they were all bandana, hat,
course. No, this is
jersey, this.
exactly that. Yeah, fashion, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All the time.
It's sadly,
Like,
sadly,
look at Busta Rhymes. Like, what the hell was he wearing? Over the top, but still it was hip hop.
yeah,
And this, I think, is that element that a lot of people forget. All our idols, right? If it's Bambada, well, not now it's not an idol anymore, but if you look at what he did music-wise, playing Kraftwerk in the Bronx, like a German group that looked like Nazis,
yeah,
he's playing it, and everybody's bugging out in the Bronx, right? Sex Pistols he was playing. If you look at Scene, the way he would graffiti would like or
yeah.
Delta,
Fashion was
come
always a big part, yeah.
like Bruce Lee breaking all the rules of martial arts. All the heroes of the 70s was people that broke rules.
Mhm.
And then they were followed by a group that had them as idols say, you have to do it like this. Wait, but that's weird because your idol was exactly the opposite of what you now
Yeah,
make a
yeah,
custom.
yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
in a way, yeah, this is, I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, a lot to
Yeah.
say.
So before we talk about the fashion part, we gonna create the perfect breaker. Yeah. So
Word.
we have, of course, the known four elements. We have top rocks, we have footwork, we have freezes and power moves, but we're gonna add flavor
Mhm.
and fashion.
All
Yeah.
right,
So we start first, top rock.
cool.
Which top rocks you choose?
So
Which
I'm
person?
gonna go for a guy that I also feel is maybe not seen enough, Heat Rock.
Ooh, he
And
smoked
Heat Rock,
me bad.
yo, if he goes off,
He smoked me so bad. He
bro,
smoked 2 years ago at IBE. I from 70 B-boys, I entered top 16.
okay,
First battle against Heat Rock.
yo,
And I didn't wait it. I went out first. I did my top rocks. I rocked
yeah.
this, that, blah, blah. Bro, after a couple of seconds, I saw him doing the gliding shit and everything, you know?
Nah, man.
Bro, I knew I lost. He started the
But
gliding shit and then he smoked me on beat. He didn't even throw a cock or anything. He did this,
no,
on beat. It
yo,
was over. It was over.
yo, like his musicality and just how he just totally is free, like lets himself go, is in the music.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yo, and but he has like a popping background, I think. So
Yes,
that's
yes, yes,
why
yes.
he combines a lot of
You
that.
see
But
it definitely. You can see it definitely.
like I feel like somebody like Why Not for sure when he came out, but like Heat Rock, I think, yeah, he's
Hitler is a very nice choice.
gonna
So,
be the top contender.
footwork.
Footwork. I'm gonna go for maybe also a guy people I feel people should study. T-Rock.
T-Rock.
Like remember the first footwork battles at Mighty Four? And he
Whoa.
was down with Rocksteady. And he was one of the first guys I saw do footwork with one hand, like just
Mm-hmm.
so clean, so crispy. Like form wise,
And
this
already
guy
really creative.
really creative, but super light, like easy rock light. But then concept wise, he was like the
T-Rock, I
footwork.
have to check some footage from him,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, T-Rock. And he used to be down with Rocksteady, I think, at that time.
Ah,
But he's mad fresh, yo.
mhm,
Mad
mhm.
fresh.
So, power moves.
Here I'm gonna go a little bit left, or I don't know, like I'm gonna go for Lee.
Woo.
And Lee because like I think his but you know why, right?
Bro, his power moves are a whole.
He is power. Like at this level that he became in the last couple of years, like I feel like when I look at his style, like I you have to have motherfucking crazy power to do what he does, man.
Power and crazy control.
Yeah, the control, the
He's,
power, like first, of course, when I'm from my generation think of power, I just think of people that can do all the power moves and clean and whatever. And but Lee's just free with it. Like he was already doing windmill both sides when he was a kid,
his
but
chair spin,
playful.
his chair spins like when he just goes straight
Yeah,
like a board and does couple of rounds after throwing some flares and air flares,
yeah.
like.
Nah, man. Like that's some insane level. Like
Mhm.
I first was thinking of like somebody like Kids just because of the cleanness of Kid Columbia. And like it's insane. But then when I look at the creativity level and the power that goes into the rounds of Lee, like
His halos also. His halos is like a sissy, like when normal
yeah,
people do sissy, he does a halo,
it's
like.
just how effortless it is.
Yes.
Like it's mad effortless.
I mean, the best breakers are the ones who make it look easy, right? Who make
Yeah.
it look like, hey, I think I can do that too. Like maybe I should practice, but then you
But
practice
good
it.
breakers do both, right? They make hard stuff look easy,
Yes.
easy stuff look hard.
Yeah. Oh, that's good one. Yes, yes.
You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially the musical guys, they do something very easy, but because it's on beat, you're like, "Ah!" Like
Mhm.
it's like blow up.
That's good. Yes, yes. So freezes.
Freezes, I think freezes is a hard one,
Mhm.
but I mean, for me, because I don't have the list,
Mhm.
but Rock's Right is the first one that comes to
Bro,
mind.
I'm telling you, everybody says rocks
No,
right.
but I mean,
That's
he's just
crazy. I mean,
like
I have nothing against rocks right. Don't get me wrong, please.
no, no, of course I understand, but like if you know his career and the level he is still on, and
Mhm.
he always catches those damn freezes. I'm like, how the hell, Because he always does them from dynamics, Always he comes from movement, and he blocks them, and he gets
I
them,
mean, this also speaks for himself that all the people I talk to, most of them choose him for tricks, you know?
Yeah. No,
It,
I've heard Reveal, which I think is a very good one as well. But there was a time period with all those bend like rollback freezes, I think that period is a bit gone now. But yeah. Yo, classic. Like classic. But came out too, like he came also with Balladier 98. Like
his hollow bags.
yo. But then and then I also get when people say crumps, but that's
Hmm.
more the stacking style. But
Hmm.
then not for the form of the freezes, but the form of the easiness with and also the amount of different freezes. Yeah.
And also both sides.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, flavor.
Flavor. Mm, I think Camel because of his personality. You know,
I mean, 3 months
like
ago,
like like
three
yeah.
months ago, we all had a different opinion about him. But you can't deny his flavor when he's dancing. Definitely not.
No, I mean when we talk about flavor, flavor is of course a very abstract word, right?
Of course, there is no right or wrong answer.
No, I know, but also to sort of know if you give the right example, you have to understand what somebody means by flavor, right? Because I think flavor is choices.
Mhm.
You know, you the choices you make that determines your, you know, how you dress, like. But in the case of Kamal, it's not even his choices; it's his freaking character. The same like Flea Rock has it.
Mhm, mhm.
Like that whole like it can already be scary. Like fucking flavor. Like
It's intimidating, right?
it's intimidating. It's so much. But that's it, in the case of Kamal, it's mainly character. Like just this is it's like you can see he believes everything. Like there's commitment in everything he does. There's no doubt.
Mhm.
you know?
Hmm.
There's no doubt. It's just like,
Hmm.
yeah,
No, I totally understand. I totally understand you.
yeah,
So we go with KML, and last but not least, fashion.
fashion. Yeah. It's an interesting one.
Let's go back in time.
No, actually, I
No, we have good dressed dancers
yeah,
too.
yeah, no, but I have two people in mind.
Hmm.
Uh, Alienness and Flea Rock.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and with Flea Rock, you can see like, yo, he gets bored very fast with a certain fashion, and then he switches it.
Yes.
He switches it up, totally.
Mhm.
There's if you would make a book of the different Flea Rocks there's been and the different haircuts he's had
He
and the
has
different.
the t-shirt. He made the t-shirt.
Exactly. Yo, it's insane. Like he keeps on like changing, and there's people like that in the scene that just get bored very fast of looking or dressing a certain way, and then they need to switch it up. And usually they're ahead of the time.
There are not many people like Flea Rock, no?
No, no, of
Yes.
course
Yes.
not.
I
No,
mean, no. I
but
mean,
I mean, no, I mean the approach that this tendency to switch it up before everybody starts following.
I'm thinking now of other examples like Flea Rock. I can't
I
tell.
mean, Kamel and Flea are a little bit, they have
But Kamel
very.
influenced him, right?
Sorry?
Kamel influenced him, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. Like they were tight.
Hmm.
Mm. But yeah, and then Alien Ness, I think he makes a lot of statements, like he came with the jackets. Some people hated it, but I've seen him do battles in Timberlands, if he shows up to an award show, he has like the fur jacket, always with the freaking rings and like just people that make statements like that and just believe it and get away with it, like that's just inspiring. For me, it sets other people free.
Hmm.
The same way you like always coming mad clean,
I
like
need.
be style, like
There,
it sets people free.
there is no
Come
chance
straight to the party.
if you see me uncoordinated, something is wrong.
Yeah, yeah, you're probably sick or
Yes,
depressed
please come to me and ask me how I'm doing when you see me like that.
yeah. It becomes second nature, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, it's like I remember a specific day in my life, bro, when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and I was standing outside of the mall and at the bus station. I waited for my mom, and it was Saturday, and it was like 5, 6, and I saw all these people getting ready to go out, you know, and they were all dressed so nice. I remember this scene, and I look at myself, and I was not color coordinated.
Oh
Then I
shit.
thought to myself, okay, from now forward, you have at least uh, it has to fit. And then I remember I told my mom, hey, just buy me plain white t-shirt, just plain white
Yeah.
t-shirt. This is all I
Yo,
need.
I've been rocking those like for years now,
Bro, if you can't rock a plain white t-shirt and it looks fresh, then I can't help
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice. That means our perfect breaker from Mr. Jurskee as the top rocks from Heat Rock, the footwork of T Rock, the palm moves of Lee. He freezes like rocks right. He has the flavor of Kamel. At day he's dressed like Flea Rock. At night like Alienness.
Right? I like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
And to finish up our wonderful talk,
Actually, yo, sorry, that doesn't work, man. Like, nobody of the other names can dress like somebody like Ness. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't be the same.
aha, aha,
I think those
aha.
examples are so unique that if somebody else tries to dress like them, it will feel off.
Okay, I see your point. I see your
Right?
point. Yeah,
But okay, let's go with it.
I see your point, but fuck it.
Yeah, okay.
So to finish it up, yeah, I always said with the aliens and shit, fuck the aliens. Who, in your opinion, are the best five breakers that came out of the Netherlands?
Legendary Paulo Nunes, of course. you know Also as a person, people really when they meet him they should go up and talk to him and understand like the character he has. Like it's a very special person, like really humble but super powerful.
Mhm.
Like when he was still teaching, like it was scary, what he did to people. But so Paulo Nunes for sure. Um, I gotta give props to Rabani, because he's um he's not very visual in the scene, but he left his mark on worldwide to for a certain group that appreciates what he does. So I think that's super special to have in Holland. Um, who else? I throw in a young blood in the mix just because he's making a lot of noise now. Saigo. I think
Psycho.
Saigo is super special. Like, yo, he's mad special.
Yeah, I know him. He's very good. His musicality is
Yeah.
very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, 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 yeah. Like that's one of those examples. Like, yo, where the hell did this kid come from, and why does he understand breaking at this level?
Yeah, I laughed so hard. He rocked Dickies, and I'm on the microphone. I say, I didn't know Dickies made pants so small.
That's stupid, man. But so yeah, those three. Oh man, and then there's just so many good breakers in Holland, man, that it's just a shame. Um, because like Hustle Kids is filled with characters,
I
and
mean,
I
you could do 3, 4 just hustle kids, right?
yeah, the same with Ruggeds, man. Like they became icons, because we already mentioned Lee, but like what he does on a world scale, it's you know. And then still with Menno, even though he gets so much hate for all the people that don't understand what he does, like yo, he is something else.
Everybody
Like
who talks shit about Menno has no
oh, they don't know like the work that goes into it, and yo, but ah man, so now it really gets hard to finish the list because uh, you know.
You know what? We make a compromise. We take the first 3 names you mentioned, and then we take the Ruggeds and Hustle Kids.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you can say Menno and just do it, but you can also mention Cisco, you know,
Cisco,
you can
bro,
also mention Shane, you
of
know,
course.
and I mean, Sky Chief.
Sky Chief, Jesse, yo,
I
Supreme,
always,
even though Supreme, he's
yeah,
import.
yeah, he's
Still.
half Dutch, right? I always loved Justin's style.
Justin,
I
yo,
love since he was a
Justin. When I
small
when I
kid.
said Saigo, Justin came in my mind at the same time, and
Bro,
and when he came out, yo, but still now till this day, right before the Olympic qualification started, he made a comeback, but he didn't enter that
and
route. But if he would have, he would like people would have had
bro,
trouble, man.
I
Trouble.
remember there was he was still a young kid, and they had there was a French event, and they invited crazy people from France, from Germany, from all the biggest countries, and they also had the one-on-one, and he won the one-on-one in the
Yeah,
final against the Butus.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like he's
Yeah.
another like natural, like he has the ability, but also deep understanding of what breaking is.
I call him the hustle kid because his style is Menno with Cisco with Shane, all combined.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
hustle kid.
yeah. I always mention when I think of hustle kids, I always mention funky styles. A lot of people don't know them, but like there was in my generation, there was the crew from Tilburg
Mm-hmm.
that came before hustle kids,
Mm.
and they had it all. Like they were complete with style, power. Like it was super clean, very diverse crew, and very humble. Always going to the clubs. They would go all the way here to Amsterdam and party. I would see them all the time. But lovely people, but with a very, very deep love for hip hop. And I think this matters because if you transfer this, and you see it also in a crew like Hustle Kids. If you see the music choice of somebody like Cisco, for instance, when he does judge showcases and he dances to Kendrick, something like that. It's like, yo, just out of the box with always hip hop,
Yes, 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 definitely.
and that's dope. That's just really fresh.
Mhm.
And that's something that I sometimes miss in new generations, that there's a disconnect to hip hop.
Mhm.
Even though me personally also, I went more into funk and rare grooves and then into rap necessarily.
Me
But
too, me too, me too, definitely also.
yeah, like I went into the wormhole of samples, and then like a world opened
Oh,
up
it's
of
crazy.
music.
It's crazy.
Yo, it's so deep, and it's the best.
Mm.
But yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Well, while we mentioned them, congrats to the Ruggeds 20-year anniversary.
Oh,
This is very nice to hear
yeah.
that there's a crew who's
But
doing this.
shout out to the Ruggeds, man. If you think of the Ruggeds, I told Ray that I run the breaking school with. I said, yo, we can use them as an example for every possible spot you can get in a work field because they do theater, they do events, they got DJs, they
They
do
got all,
battles,
they got everything.
they run a dance. Look, it's like, yo, they did it all, like TV shows, whatever, because of their level of professionalism, and I think this is something a lot of people can learn from, and also upcoming crews. Like it's dope to have skills, but if you really want it, like the reason I'm still breaking, I'm 48 this summer. I'm
Oh,
47 now.
crazy, bro. Crazy.
You know, the reason I'm still here is because this love never went, and I've always tried to find ways to keep on going
Of course.
because I like it so much, and so many levels of it, and it only gets deeper. It's just like good wine, getting better and better and better. So this is for me a motivation to hustle and become a hustlepreneur.
It
You
it
know,
keeps it keeps us young, you know?
hustlepreneur is a word by Drasya, by the way. Shout out to Drasya.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, what I want to say, it keeps us young, the culture, you know?
Oh hell yeah!
It keeps us
Like
young.
track two said, like the reason we call ourselves b-boys is because we become kids when we break again.
Mm,
We
mm.
play, we're playing,
I
and we
mean,
should be.
till this day, when I dress and everything, people give me like younger age than I'm actually am, you know? So,
Nah, of course. I mean, you shouldn't look like a teenager all the time, but
now this, yeah, we're all adults now, we're grown men, so you
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have to know
yeah,
your
yeah.
place now, yeah. Brother, thank you so much. Uh,
Yo,
we almost broke the record, like 10 minutes was missing.
oh snap! Sorry, man. And we didn't even talk about
We
judging, which I've
didn't
been
even
doing
talk
like
about
all
judging,
the time.
but we're gonna do a part two for sure, brother. We're gonna do a part two for sure
Dope, dope, man.
because
Like this,
it,
I wanted to say to you why because I've been asking you also, like, yo, we need to just break it down because I love talks so much, especially during COVID. I noticed that talks like this, that was my go-to all the time, because I was missing the conversations you have at jams, at the after parties, at the
Mhm.
bar.
For me, that's the best part of the event when the event is over, when we all chill
Exactly.
together, talk, live, this,
Oh,
that.
that's what keeps us together, that's so thank you for doing this, man, because
Thank
it's
you,
I
brother.
think it really is needed. Yeah, yeah, for real. It's
So,
dope.
any last words and shout outs? I mean, that was a really good last word, but you wanna?
Oh, just shout out to you and for doing this and just for creating platforms, which I think it's really important. And to be open-minded and to, have everybody say their piece, because like, yo, you know how people always say hip hop can end wars, like, and it feels sometimes like that. We live in a fucked up situation right now with what's happening in the world. And I know
Yeah.
I see your stories too, you speak out and
I mean, what can
oh,
we do?
helpless.
What can we do
No, that's it. So we
except
cannot do
just
shit.
except reminding the people that the world is not in a good place. So,
Yeah, but be an example to our kids and tell them that, instead of, like the cycle, because it's a cycle as soon as it
I
starts.
remember seeing you last year in IB at the breakfast, and
Right,
you was there with your kids and your wife, you know.
right.
And this is something so beautiful, that you can share this with because at the end we were just all young guys who just started breaking,
Of course.
and
Yeah.
because we learned six step, brother, we travel the world, we go to events, we
Yeah.
we have a place in the scene, and then when you can
Yeah.
share this with your family, it's just beautiful to see.
No, it is, man. My kid's been at the IBE every year. Like even when
That's so
the first one
nice.
was in the belly, my wife was there.
That's so nice. That's
And
so nice.
Nah, man, but they took over. They're everything for me, you know. And I'm really happy that I have this lifestyle, so I can spend a lot of time with the
That's
kids as well.
that's just beautiful, man. That's
You
just
know, I feel mad blessed, you know, and super rich in that aspect. So, but that's also what the culture gives me. So that's my last words. Again, a little bit much, but thank you. And keep doing what you do, man, for real.
Thank you, brother. For all the viewers and listeners, thank you for watching. Subscribe now. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers.
Know it.
Comment who you want to see next, or if you have different B-boys and B-girls than Mr. Jurskee. A thumbs up, it goes a long way for the algorithm. Of course, notification on. You never miss a video. Every Sunday, your favorite breaking show, new knowledge just for you. And if you want to show full support, you go out to Patreon, you become a Patreon, you get all the podcasts at the beginning of the month for each month. And also, don't forget, because it's July, we have the Crash Fest giveaway. Yes. So if you're at IBE and you are a Patreon, you can go watch the Crash Fest prelims VIP and also the end game VIP. You will have the best seats for the most hype battle at IBE. Yeah. So become a Patreon. What is €5, brother? €5 is nothing, sister. So yeah, shout outs to Jurskee for taking his time. And that was your favorite Bieber host with your favorite breaking show. Peace.
Bye.